Thank you very much, my brother Warid, who is our deputy spokesperson for the party. First and foremost, we want to thank the people of the Fourth Estate for making time to be with us here today, and also to thank you, those who participated with us from the day we started on 29th, not on 24th, of nomination. We moved the 29th or 24th of September when I was nominated as a candidate, and traversed the whole country until we concluded the campaign on 13th of January 2026. And also thank the team I had, because I had a team which I moved with in the whole country, and I want to thank them with my total heart. Thank you so much for being there with me. It wasn't an easy journey because our roads are bad. We went in an environment which was not good. We slept on ways. We got stuck in car and water, muddy roads. While one of the candidates was using public resources, was busy flying up there, and even using public resources to run the campaign. Well, for us, we fought on our own. And I want to say thank you very much, my team. I also want to thank the people we visited in all those villages. I know the country with my team, in and out. I've been in the countryside for many years, as you're aware. I've been in campaigns since 2001, when I campaigned through the former agenda. We campaigned for Dr. Byesige, 2006 for Dr. Byesige, 2011 for Dr. Byesige, 2016 for Dr. Byesige, 2021 for my brother, big brother, Amriat. Now it was myself. So I've been in the whole country, but I've been there. I've seen everything. I have learned much. So I want to thank all the people we met in those villages and the welcome they gave us. And we also want to take this opportunity to thank all those who voted for us. Thank you so much. And those who never voted for us, also thank you. You know the reason why you never voted for us. And those who cheated us, you know what you did. We also wish you well, and we pray to God. He's the only one who can redeem, who can pay you if we don't have capacity. And also say, as a country, we need each other. And because of that, there are so many things we need to look through. As I stated, I want to thank my chairman of the party, who was my chairman of the campaign bureau, Honorable Jack Sabit, for being there for me for the entire period of this campaign. Jack Sabit, we met when I was a civil servant. We knew one another as a young man. I grew up in his hands. I have respect for him. He has mentored me in politics. Now, until now, where I've been up to date. I thank my brother Ingen Yamrat, who has been my brother for the last over 30 years. We met when we were young men. All of us coming from different. I was coming from engineering side. I was coming from government, Ministry of Finance. We met and we've been here and we became brothers for over 30 years. And I think we have sworn to each other that we shall never abandon each other. And I think this is a ceremony vote decision we have taken, and we believe we shall live together up to the end. Only 10 million voted. That means 11 million never voted, which we're also questioning whether the Electoral Commission has the right register, or if not the right register, whether there's a problem why there's a voter turnout which was of that nature. Is there apathy? Are there? But of course, what we have done as an investigation, we have discovered most of the opposition who said even if you go and vote, the results are already predetermined. Of course, we would get calls here and say, Nandala, whether you move or what, you have been already allocated. Of course, I am aware I was allocated the 1.88%, which I feel it is not my genuine vote, but that's what I was allocated. If all of you saw here, I came here at a homecoming, it was a talk. Everybody came. When I went to look around in the whole region, I walked in all areas in the mountains. I can tell even in coming from my home to reach Sinoko, I reached after 10 p.m. because the people could not allow. So what happened if those were the people who were supposed to vote, what happened. So I can tell you that's why I was saying the election has been mad with a lot of problems, and we believe that unless we pull up our socks, this electoral commission is just one of those tools which is used by the regime to legitimize their stay in power until death. I hear people saying Museveni was getting his 7th term. No, 45 years it means he's getting his 9th what? Term. Because every term is 5 what? 5 years. So a leader to be there for 45 years, he makes institutions not to operate. It makes us really not feel bad. All of you know the Electoral Commission is just a tool. I can tell you, if Electoral Commission wasn't a tool, we would have really had a fair and a free election. Why? They came and lied us that the BVVK system they have brought is going to remove people with multiple voting, it is going to stop rigging, the right people are going to vote. And all of you know what happens. There is no law, but they made a regulation. On the day of voting, something you have spent over $70 million. $70 million. If you change in Ugandan currency, that is over 200, almost 300 billion shillings, a taxpayer's money. And a man on the day of voting, they say the machine is not what? Working. If Museveni was a serious leader, Yamukama would have been in prison. In fact, it would be a firing squad, that is committing murder. But what happened is that because it is done for him, no action is being taken. Nobody is questioning what happened. And by 7, no machine was working. At 8:30, between 8 and 8:30, they declared that people should vote because we were delaying the process. I will give an example. In Bukedia, by 10, they had finished voting. Thrown my agents out, thrown private agents, ticked the ballot papers, DSOs, ESOs, PSOs, GSOs, military, police were all involved in this process of the rigging in the whole country. And that's why we're saying, was this an election? I want everybody to question himself, was this an election? That clearly shows this process where the NRM was looking for putting themselves in the office illegally, but everybody has seen this is not a legal what? Legal position they have taken. Of course, as FDC, we managed to get 9 MPs, which is not right, and these are things we are saying, well, we allocated 9 MPs, the local government were thrown out many, we have a few, but we are here, the country Uganda is ours. All leaders come, leaders go, there's no permanent situation, and we believe we will be really work out many of these things. As FDC, we know what happened. I have brought here documents for you, which I'm going to share, showing you how the process was very mad with bribery. The Electoral Commission saw the money, and nobody stopped the process. You are aware we have all these documents which I'm going to share with you, which are properly dated. And if I can read for you so that you understand, it is one of those elections all of you should get concerned. There was a circular dated 20th November, which is talking about facilitation in respect of parish-based grassroots mobilization. Money came to villages. Every village got 630,000, and most villages in Uganda, if I want to tell you, we have 72,000 villages, have about 20 to 30 people. 20 to 30. Nobody should lie you. If you get maximum, might be 40. Each was being given 630. They were being given lunch, each 2,000. If you multiply that, about 760. If there are 20 people, that means each of them got about 38,000 shillings. Already that's bribery. That was a circular number 1. And everybody saw it. On the same day, they brought another circular. Circular number, you know they are not good at naming circulars because they are poor at that. District entry meetings for grassroots. Again, if money came in, flew from venue 500,000, for venues, go up to the villages, all this came again. We are going to give you all this so that you see what it means with this country of yours. Oh no, you know, when you want to put a case, you must have data. And that's why I'm here with data. On 4th December, they issued another circular. Here it is. It is saying first batch release of facilitation respect again of parish because they had done the other one of 10. Here it is. First batch. These are things you want to know. Then from there we come on 11th December. Facilitation of village grassroots. Mobilization, again with the money, new money, you will get a village getting 300,000 for mobilization, 300,000 for motorcycles, 300,000 for the elderly, 300 for special groups. Here you are. Yamukama was saying this. That is on 11th. On 10th January, another circular comes with the money. Here it is. Materials for mobilization district drives. Now here you see, again the money coming out. Here it is. You have all the copies. I'm going to give them to you so that you see Yamukama and the NRM. Again, every village was being given 300,000 to guide voters. Every village was getting T-shirts. Every village was having more drives in the parishes. Again, special interest groups. Another 600,000 is going to every village. Those are there. Again, on that was on 11th. They issue another circular. They are allocating more money in the banks on 11th from the national treasury. Here it is. More money is out. Again, the same money, 600,000 is going out. That is on 11th. We want to give you that so that you know that what we went through on 13th. No, this again on 11th. Sorry, this again on 11th. Facilitation to the village baraza meetings and mobilization drives. Again, and this is your tax. Barazas are here. The rural villages per village, they are saying for Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono at 3 p.m. These are barazas, but for others, they are giving you every village, the money is here. Every village again 300,000. There are drives, there's special group, and they are holding the countrywide village meetings. Barazas, Ekugana, Kuchoka, Wagoze, Okuza, Eheo, Ekoko. I don't know. There are many languages. You are mentioning it. Here it is. Again, here every village was getting about 900,000. 11. On the 13th, here they are coming now what we call facilitation for vote protection. Facilitation for vote protection. I hope you will all get it. You will read it. 3 polling agents, 2 official polling agents, and 1. Then the facilitation for coordinators. Then the facilitation for operation wealth creation. Then the facilitation for parish registrars. Then sub-counter chairs. Then vote protectors, 3 people per polling station. And then district polling agents. For 13 members of DEC. But of interest, borders, high of borders per village. We have facilitation for NRM village finance sector to pick the money from sub-counties. From sub-counties to pick from the district. Hard-to-reach areas. Transport to bank charges. All these are here. And this is how they are facilitating. Every polling agent was supposed to get 50,000. So 3 is 150. Parish was supposed to get 100. All these are here. Where Electoral Commission was saying. So, they are here. Those are the few I've touched. Now, an election mad with money from treasury. And the people seeing money. And the Electoral Commission not acting. It shows Electoral Commission is a tool for the NRM to do this process. So that's why we are questioning ourselves. Is it necessary for people to continue in elections in Uganda at this rate? Is it necessary? Is it necessary because the security vote, tick ballot papers, people are beaten, people are done, is it necessary to go to election, or we just abandon it? So these are things you need to know as Ugandans. The election never took place. Electoral Commission rigged from day one for the ruling party. That's why Museveni was able to get 71.65% allocated, and he claims they cheated him. You are aware to show that this is the most useless, hopeless, corrupt Electoral Commission. You have nominated the people. You remember 17 members of parliament were disqualified to allow NRM to go and what? Oppose. Surely, somebody has nominated me, has seconded me, is my official gate. At that, why should he be removed? You come and say, oh, this one said you forged their signature. Yet on the nomination, the seconders were there. The official agent was there. Why didn't you say these are not allowed? Oh, these are missing in the register. But they are there at the time of verification. 17 were put out. But I've now heard that now they're opening boxes and accounting. You have seen the fake declaration by a certain magistrate. I don't know which magistrate. Those are people are criminals. That now this was won. Yet other boxes had no votes. Yet when the opposition goes for a count, they are saying we have no what? No mandate. When the other ones go, you have the what? Mandate. These double standards really make us feel bad. And there is where it says the mandatory count, if the votes are below 50 and below, that's a mandatory recount. Why is the Electoral Commission not accepting to do the recounts where it is mandatory? Because they don't want to declare the opposition. How? What type of independent Electoral Commission? This should be called the Independent Electoral Commission for the NRM. And this is a clear indicator that we Ugandans who believe that you are still going to go for an election, I don't know what you are going to do. Ballot staffing was the order of the day. The security was involved from day one up to the end. There was internet shutdown. Why, if you are doing something transparent, why should the internet be what? Shut down. Now, none of you have raised that. We have been keeping quiet to see that some of you would raise an issue that it can be done. We have here what we call, is it presidential hubs, something like that, whereby they have over 1,500 people in that. All of them take NRM. That's why Honorable Bwaru had to lose an election. He had won an election by over 289 votes. But the presidential hub, where the non-existent people brought 1,500, all NRM ticked votes. When they even said we have agents, even the agents look ticked what? NRM, which is, we have not seen that one happen. Now, that one they turn. Here in the Bungoko Central, this gentleman called Masaba won, I think, with 26 votes. What helped him? The presidential what? Hub. They are military. So how do you think that's an election? These are the law we passed. The election, the polling station are supposed to be in the open, not in the closed what? Places where everybody has been success. The register must be verified. Remember, we cleared the register where people did the exercise, I think in May, April, May. Now, these people they are talking who are coming now in January are coming there recently. That means they were already on a polling station. When did they transfer to that new polling station? These are things we want Ugandans to really look around. In Chikaramoja, in Kanyumu, Kanyumu County, where my boss comes from, you know what happened? They went and threw everybody. They beat people and started taking a ballot stuffing. Everywhere, ballot stuffing. You go on the table, a person is given a ballot already ticked. And there were nobody. Agents which were there were all compromised agents. And why would the Electoral Commission accept such a process? Because they are the ones who tick, they hand over to people already ticked. Why would you allow people to be chased at polling stations, Why would we allow army to come here? These are things we need to look at as a country if we are supposed to do it. Of course, we had our own problems during election, and we ate tear gas. People were shot at in Hamudat, in Karamoja, in Moroto, in Kagadi, mention it. But we feel that if an election was supposed to be an election, Electoral Commission should have been that all of us are accorded fairness in the process. We had a military operation in Bukede, I've told you, in Maokoto, South, where our chief whip comes from, Honorable Yusuf Sivambi. All of you know by the time they had already ticked the results. Then there was a falsifying of results. There is a declaration form which is different. They come here, they're doing another declaration form. In Kasese, that was a military operation. You are aware the NRM candidate Mzee Museveni had finished election, but he had to go back to go under command so that they can rig in Kasese. This one clearly shows that this country is in problems, and we expect even worse things to happen. So the terror centers were managed by NRM. Those officials were there, the district returning officers are basically working for the NRM. So we want to say that this election, if we wanted to really see an election, we would have seen a better one. Even the gentleman who is a former president of Nigeria, that is called the man Jonathan Goodluck, he may ask the question, and I want to go. He asked the question: is this really fairness of election in Uganda? Is this fairness of election in Uganda? Why should the government shut down internet? Why should you suspend human rights groups? Why should you deploy military during election? Why would observers be not allowed to go to certain areas where the opposition was very strong because they are going to rig, and be allowed to go to others? Why would civil societies be harassed and arrested and abducted? Why would we fire tear gas and live bullets to the population? And of course, the observers also raised concern about the inconsistent application of electoral laws, lack of comprehensive campaign financing regulations, and a limited access to media coverage for opposition party. This response really, you can see that the election of 2016 was not an election. It was a mere exercise to legitimize Museveni and his cohorts. Otherwise, it does not have even a single or a small iota to be called an election. That's where we come in. We have been here, we have carried data, we have done investigation, we have done reports. This is what we shall deal with at another appropriate time. So from the following I've raised, of course, as FDC, we had the manifesto. All of you have seen it. Whether you want it or not, it was the best manifesto. It was the best product which was being sold. And the candidate selling it was coming with experience to implement that manifesto. Unfortunately, it wasn't taken on. But despite that, Uganda is our country. So what do we do as Uganda? What do we do? If an election is marred with all these flaws, is it necessary to continue with elections? I think that's what we put to our party and other people who are political players in the country. Is it necessary for us to continue with this election with a man called Byamukama, who is a partisan as the chairman of the Electoral Commission? Is this really an independent election commission? And you recall, Amama Mbaba has raised a lot of things during his petition in 2026. No, 2016. These have never been implemented because what Amama raised in his petition, if they were implemented, they would have really changed the course of election in Uganda. Why has the Supreme Court recommendations not being implemented? Why is campaign financing not implement. If we don't regulate campaign financing as a country, we are bent doomed. Because everybody will use all his resources or our resources and will be elected. Some who have access to government coffers, like the incumbent, definitely they will carry them. And the government coffers are your taxes. And I want to tell Uganda this election, tighten your belts. Tighten your belts. You will call me when I'm in Busamag in the village that we are really having it rough. Tighten your belts. Inflation is going to go high. The prices of goods are going to go high. Taxation is going to be increased. And all of you, your income is not going to be increased, but it's going to be decreased. Yet you need goods and services, which are more expensive. And that means you are going to move from the higher, that indifference curve you are in, difference in that curve you are on, where you're a bit maybe not even okay, to even a worse curve. And I am saying, get prepared. Theft is going to increase, robbery is going to increase, criminality is going to increase because of poverty. People cause a lot of criminality. And be ready. You are going to see petty thieves, you are going to see robberies. So when you have a phone, maybe you may have to find a way out to carry it. If you have a money pass, carry it well. So do we agree in this outcome of presidential election? For us, we totally reject them. Totally. Because it's flawed, it is corrupted, it has no fairness, and this is one of the reasons we said this election was not an election. The wide irregularities which you have seen are too many. And as a party, for us, we want to make a commitment that all our people who are going to court, that parliamentary or local government, to really try to use the already corrupt court. If they can, we have our support. We will support our candidates. We shall support any other, even if those who are people who are looking for justice in this process. Yamukama, whom I've talked about, does not deserve to be a chairman of electoral commission. This one should be really be thrown out immediately. If Mzee Museveni wants you anything, he's also saying they cheated him. He would have got 80%. Then what action has he taken on the man who cheated him? That shows those are double standards. This commission should be disbanded and be reconstituted. Also, we have people who have been arrested, the political prisoners, including Dr. Biesige, our colleagues in our FDC and other parties. This should be unconditionally be released because they have committed no crime. They have committed no crime. You have already robbed your election. Why do you keep them in what? In prison. Kindly release them. For us as FDC, we shall continue with the struggle to ensure that Uganda is totally have free country for all of us. And this struggle will be a plan which a party is going to take action. And we want to tell you that we are still in the struggle in this to ensure that Uganda, we have total freedom for all citizens of Uganda. And as a party also, we're going to start building our party from grassroots up to the top, so that this will culminate in the National Delegates Conference of 2028. We want to call on those who want offices that 2028 is not far, it's only 2 years from now, that you can have an election at leadership. We are going to, of course, cooperate with all pro-democratic formations, and of course also individuals who are also interested in the total liberation of the country, of your country, Uganda, because we have only one country. And on this, I want to call on our colleagues. We want to embrace unity and diversity and in pursuit for a better Uganda for all of us. Of course, about election, I've mentioned, is it necessary to continue an election in this process? That's where we ask all the Ugandans. to talk about. On a positive note, I'm now going to preach. I'm going to teach a Bible and the Quran to people in the country, in the Uganda and the whole world. So whoever wants to know about the Quran and the Bible, I am here. On a positive note, to think about what I've missed as an individual. But I want to thank the people of Budadi West who gave me an opportunity to be a member of Parliament for 25 years. I want to thank them. I never take it for granted. Without them, maybe FDC would not have made me a presidential flag bearer. Also, I want to thank all of you who have been there for me in my ups and downs. Finally, we stand with all Ugandans to demand we are demanding transparency, we are demanding accountability and justice. Transparency, accountability, even integrity, by the way, and justice. We want to ask the courts to be courts, not to be kangaroo courts, not to be another annex for the NRM party. So the struggle for free, fair and a democratic Uganda will continue without reservations. We shall continue without reservations. On this note, I want to say, one Uganda, one people. Of course, this is Nandala, Afabi, Nathan James, who was a presidential candidate for Forum for Democratic Change for 2026-2031 elections, and the Secretary General of Forum for Democratic Change. Thank you.